country's development relies on the people's livelihood, and people feed themselves on food. For a large country with 1.4 billion population, the food security issue has remained top priority of national governance. According to President Xi, we must always hold the food security in our own hands in China. And especially we must rely on our independent food production because food security matters to the rights of survival. It matters to the national security. That's why this is an eternal topic. At any time, we must never slack on that target. And we must take the initiative of ensuring food security. After years of efforts, for the main agricultural products, including the grains, China has elevated its level of guarantee and supply. Last year, we had a bumper year with a total output of 1.43 trillion jin. For 2 years in a row, we have registered a number of above 1.4 trillion. Per capita output was above 500 kilograms, above the world's average. In addition to the grains, meat, eggs, fruits, vegetables, and milk had abundant supply as well. For your information, last year, meat output exceeded 100 million for the first time. It's about 72 jin per capita, also above the world's average. For eggs, we registered an output of 34.98 million tons, with per capita of 24 jin, also exceeding the level of that of developed nations. For water products, the total output was 76.57 million tons, with per capita ownership of 47, exceeding the world's average. For milk, per capita ownership was about 1/3 of the world's average. Last year, for fruits, we registered an output of 800 million tons. And for the total output, China ranked among the top in the world in the above-mentioned indicators. So it is fair to say that we have abundant supply of food, especially agricultural products, with a large number of varieties in the market. In any season, you can access those different varieties in the market. Due to extreme weather conditions that happened frequently in the past several years, why could we ensure food supply? That's thanks to the leadership of CPC with Comrade Xi Jinping as its core and the industrious efforts made by tens of millions of farmers, and also the insurance of the farmer-friendly policies, as well as the continued improvement of agriculture sector. During the past 5 years, the equipment of agriculture sector has been significantly improved. So modernization has come to a higher level in agriculture sector. Technology contribution in agriculture sector was 64% and covering 96% of the total varieties of agricultural products. And machinery level was 76.7%. So we basically have realized mechanization. And as to intelligence level improvement and the digitalization transformation, we are also progressing. Different types of intelligent equipment are playing their roles in agriculture. Last year, for the UAVs, we adopted over 300,000 of UAVs in agriculture, ranking number 1 in the world. covering 460 million mu of arable land. For the irrigation robots, AI and laser-oriented mowers, we are also trying to apply them in agriculture sector. We have improved 460 million mu of high-quality arable land, totaling 1 billion mu of arable land in the past several years in total. So we have stronger capacity to relieve the disasters. And according to the government work report, we must never slack on the yield. 1.4 trillion gene of grain output was a major expected target this year. And our ministry must accurately and thoroughly execute on that policy. The capacity and output and the ecosystem must be worked on together to develop quality agriculture, branded agriculture, and green agriculture. We must ensure that for the major agricultural products, including grains, must have abundant supply at a higher level. The farmer's income must be boosted, and the efficiency of agricultural practices must be improved as well. We must ensure the numbers. That is to say, the capacity building must be taken as the top priority, and the new round of added output must be carried out in our campaign in order to stabilize the area of sowing agricultural products. And also we must improve the yield of the agricultural products so that for the seeds for the arable land must be sound and efficient, and technology must be highly applied in order to truly ensure stabilized output of grains. And there are two key issues to target at. The first one is seed, the other is arable land. Seed is like the chip in agriculture sector. On March the 5th, General Secretary Xi Jinping attended a review conference of Jiangsu delegation. He stressed that the seed industry is the most important thing for agriculture practitioners. After years of efforts, especially since 2021, we implemented the seed rejuvenation campaign. Now, the Chinese grains are mainly sowing the Chinese seeds for vegetables and aquatic products. Basically, we can ensure self-sufficiency. We are rooted in the Chinese varieties. For the Chinese agricultural products, we have set up such a seed library. We also studied the bumper ear big model for intelligent seeding, and the first smart seed breeding robot called the Jier was developed. We also have cultivated a group of high-yielding, disaster-proven varieties of seeds. And in the next step, we are going to implement that seed rejuvenation plan in order to make breakthroughs in the varieties of seeds so that we can be independent and the seed industry will be within our control and we can have efficient iteration of the seeds. That's how we get to the root of food security. And also, arable land is key. We must uphold that red line and avoid the non-agriculture utilization of arable land and pursue high-quality development of high-standard arable lands. And the new round of black land protection project must be executed. And we must also try to manage the saline and alkali soil to improve the quality of those arable land. And secondly, we must ensure the quality of the arable land, especially moving towards green development. and optimize the land. We must cultivate new varieties and actively apply those green technologies, improve the processing level, and introduce stringent quality control mechanisms so that our land protection system will be resilient and adaptable. With the improvement of people's livelihood, they need more than sufficient food, but rather high quality and healthy food instead. So the work of agriculture must transition from just improving output to highlighting both varieties and quality. So we must improve the quality of agricultural products, especially those featured nutritious varieties. And we must be able to provide more tasteful and more nutritious agricultural products. And also marketing is important for those agricultural products. In the past, most of those agricultural products were just sold on the streets by the peddlers, and many of those agricultural products have never been processed, always just a very rough and simple processing before entering into the market. So they couldn't be sold at a high price. But now this has changed. Many optimized agricultural products could be reprocessed and packaged and utilize the power of e-commerce platforms to go out of the villages. And they are sold out online. So to improve the efficiency and quality of agriculture, must also work on the processing level of those agricultural products. We must have a categorized and a tiered assessment system of those agricultural products. And also for the cold chain transport in the logistics sector must be improved as well. And we must add more value to the different agricultural products. To that end, we must take solid steps to improve the quality and work on branding and standardized production. For the Chinese people, we must provide high quality and reputational agricultural products so agriculture will be modernized. And in that way, we can increase the farmers' income. So we must work on the quantity, quality, and diversity. By diversity, I mean we must set up a concept of big agriculture, big food. So agriculture, husbandry, and fishery will be developed together. They must be modernized and customized. And we must develop forestry economy to scale it up. We must set up such a diversified food supply system to meet by diversified demand of the Chinese people. After all, their demands are differentiated. And in our food consumption structure, people consume more oil. For milk and beans, consumption is relatively lower. We have communicated with National Health Commission about healthy diet popularization. Now, per capita oil consumption exceeded the 40% of the level recommended by scientific and healthy diet. For beans and milk, per capita intake is less than 60% of the recommended level by healthy diet. For milk consumption, China takes only 1/3 of the world's level. That's why we call upon a relative reduction of oil consumption and an increase of beans and milk consumption. I hope this could catch your attention.